Hi, Dr. Paul Haider here. You know, it's really important that we believe in ourselves. Yeah, look at Tesla. Tesla, the inventor, made all his inventions. He really had to believe in himself because everybody else didn't think he was, on the right plane. So you have to believe in yourself even when people don't believe in you. And look at, Edison, thousands and thousands of different tests with different filaments to make the light bulb, and finally came up with a combination that worked. And look at Elon Musk, one in our own, time, with the electric car, and everybody says, "Oh, this is not going to work. That's not going to work," and people pressuring him and that type of thing, and he keeps moving forward no matter what. And that's what it takes. Belief really is having a faith in ourselves and a faith in the fact that we can do this and we will make everything work out one way or another. And I think that's super important because we'll never get anything done otherwise. I know a particular man right now that he has lead poisoning, and it's been very tough on him. In his earlier life, in fact, most of his life, he only worked and thought about money and thought that was the only important thing, and never really thought about, a higher power or anything, and hadn't really no faith whatsoever. So now he's kind of lost faith in himself, and so he's really in a conundrum of where he is, and he just has sadness all the time. And we can be there to help him find his faith in some way just by being a friend. But at the same time, this is a single person journey through their own, dark night of the soul that they have to go through. We can be positive and uplifting, but there's nothing that we can do to make a person change their mind. They have to go through this process. Yeah, I've been there myself. And so allow them to do what they need to do. Yeah, be supportive, but allow them to work through their stuff. It's important, If we are one, we're this one consciousness, as even science is talking about now. And so, if we have faith in ourselves, great. If we have faith in ourselves, that means we're all connected to one, and we have faith in the original one, the Creator. And faith in general is connected as one. So it's really important that we have that. What I see a lot nowadays, a lot of people, instead of having faith, have anger instead. And that is a driving force also. And that's a sad driving force because it will cause a lot of things to happen. Oh, there's no doubt about it. It has power. But anger at the same time attracts more anger and attracts stuff that is really not good in our lives. So we have to allow ourselves to retract from that, forgive ourselves from about all that anger that we put out into the world, and allow ourselves to recoup and find peace and love within. And love is powerful in many, many ways. And I think it's amazingly powerful how love can change a person. We can love somebody. Sometimes we also have to love people from a distance, because maybe we have family members which are toxic, and sometimes we just have to say, I love you, and let them be over there. And sometimes we have to interact with them, and we have to make that decision on our own. Nobody can make that decision for us. And so we have to allow ourselves to find the inner strength to be able to make those decisions and be able to listen to that still small voice within. And I think that's one of the keys to finding faith is learning to listen to that still small voice and asking people to listen to that voice. And a lot of people think, oh, that's just my mind going, and that's just, that's nothing. Well, a lot of times, when I listen to the still small voice, which I listen to all the time, it comes up with things that are outside of my understanding. And there is no way that could have come from me. And I know for sure that it came from the entities of light, from John of God. It also came from God itself and all the other avatars that have come before. And they are all there. When we went to see John of God, and we saw all these orbs flying around and in our rooms and everything, and wow, it was just a phenomenal experience, because there is the other side of the veil, and it's such a thin veil that they're here with us all the time, and we can perceive them. I had my dad come to me one time, a couple years after he passed away, and I was laying in bed, and all of a sudden I felt on the side of the bed, and like somebody sat down. I was like, oh, and that would usually scare the dickens out of you. But it didn't, so I kind of rolled into that, towards that place where that weight came down. And then I woke up and looked straight ahead of me, and there was my dad standing there. And he didn't say a word. It was like mental telepathy. He was saying to me, he had a smile on his face, and he was just saying to me, everything's going to be fine. I'm good on this side. You're going to be fine too. And I was going through some turmoil at the time when that was going on, because I missed my dad. And so at that point, it gave me a great feeling of peace, a peace that I needed to have, because I needed to know he was okay. And from that point on, great things started moving in my direction, because I had that great faith, and that great faith in not only in our higher power, but also in myself. And that's what it takes to have great things come our way. We have to have faith in ourselves. I think it was Saint Ignacio de Loyola who said, you have to go out in the world, and I kind of paraphrase this, go out in the world and work in the world as though you're the only one doing the work, and then trust in God that He is the one to have faith in. So basically, trust in God with all your faith after that. So we have to go out and do everything we can do, and do it with great gusto, and know that we have the power to make a change in the world. I was just watching some guys that came back from Afghanistan and Iraq, and they have lost limbs, and they saw things that they shouldn't have seen. They have post-traumatic stress disorder, and a lot of them, every day, 22 of their veterans kill themselves every day with suicide. Every single day. Wow. And this one veteran, he's in Santa Cruz, California. He's got into surfing, and it really drug his mind away from all those negative thoughts and got him right into the moment of living to surf. And then he started a surf school, and now he invites all the veterans to come there. And even if they don't have legs, don't have arms, some can hardly see or hardly hear, but it gives them a new lease on life. That is having faith in ourselves to make a difference in somebody's life, and it's powerful. Some of these guys are about to put a gun in their mouth and do away with themselves, and they didn't, because they were waiting for that perfect wave. They were waiting to get back on that surfboard one more time, and they're waiting to enjoy being able to balance themselves on that board, and being able to come out from the other side of that wave that kind of crushes you down after a while, and then you come back to the surface. It's kind of like the story of our lives. A lot of times life comes down on us hard, you know what I mean? And we don't think we're going to make it to the top. We think you're going to run out of breath, and you finally do kick yourself to the top, and you survive. And that's the same way of surfing, same way with life a lot of times. It takes faith to know that you're going to make it to the surface when you're surfing, and it takes faith to know that you're going to make it through all this, no matter what happens. And living in a 6x9 room for a year by myself, with no windows, no water, no bathroom, it was sleeping on a couch, it was a tough time for me. But I wouldn't let that go for anything, because I would scream out, God, I'm not giving up. I'm going to make it through all this. And I did. And it gave me a greater belief in myself that I can do whatever I need to do. I can get through whatever I need to get through, because it's important that we have that great faith in ourselves so we can have greater faith in God and the entities of light, the archangels, and all the rest, the angels that love us, and all the rest of the avatars that have come, Divine Mother Amma, Jesus, Sai Baba, Brahmana, right behind me there, Buddha, all the different ones. There's thousands actually. And when we have faith in something outside of ourselves, it really pulls us up, pushes us up actually, to a point where we can do more and more and more. Now, I think that having faith outside of ourselves, of something outside of ourselves, allows us to do what we need to do every day. And sometimes it's not easy, or sometimes it's painful, especially if you're, recovering from something and you broke your leg. And, I remember when I fell off the house and broke my foot and have 11 screws and a plate in there. Going back to walking again was a painful experience. And I just told myself, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to get through this. Every day I'm going to push a little harder and move and move. Now I'm walking 6.5, 7 miles a day. And I just knew I had that great vision in my mind that I was going to be a normal person walking without limping. And that's what it takes. And we have to have, because I have strength in really believing in myself and believing in the faith in myself, having faith in myself, I had faith in a great way in that still small voice within me also, which is the Creator. And so we allow ourselves to grow to a greater place of understanding that everything is interconnected. One thing happened to me when I actually broke my foot, and I believe it was a good thing. It was painful, it's painful. But the nice thing about it, I had a lot more compassion with people after that. More compassion because, you know what? I've been there, done that. Every time I see somebody with a cast on or one of these shoes with a big Velcro on it, I'd stop and talk to them and said, I've been there. I know what it's like. It's not easy, but you'll get through this. And that's what it would take. So we have to allow ourselves to have compassion, not only for the other person, but also for ourselves. I was just contacted by a caregiver, and she goes out to different houses and helps people, and she says, what? Yeah, a lot of times it's giving, and there's no give and take back and forth. But I have learned to fill myself up from God and allow myself to feel fulfilled. So I'm not drained every day because I have that great faith inside. And I feel the joy which comes from the inside out. And a lot of times we have to do that by meditating also, meditating. I think that's really important to shut the brain off for a while, go inside, find the peace which is always there and connect to it. And when the mind is off for a while, the brain recuperates and the agitation goes away. And the stress goes away, which is a big thing. We're just like an ocean of chemicals going on, and when something happens in our life, perhaps something traumatic, this whole bunch of chemicals come in, cortisols and adrenalines and different things, and we get through the excitement of whatever it is, maybe a lion chasing us, but afterwards we still have this sea of chemicals going on, and it's like a memory in our body. And that's why these guys surfing also, the bodily function of surfing makes a change in their body again, maybe getting rid of some of these chemicals because they have elation going on. And I think that's important to have elation and bliss. And when we get that going on, we have a whole change of chemistry. We have a whole change of mindset. We have a whole change of beliefs that happen. And, you know, people like Saint Ignacio de Loyola, Sai Baba, Divine Mother, and Jesus, and they all had this feeling of great elation inside. And that's what we need inside. All of us need this great feeling of elation. So create that elation inside. Believe in yourself. Have faith in yourself. And you will have faith in the other side also. I love you. Remember, if you like what I talk about, please subscribe. My contact information is right down below. Also, my phone number, my email address. If you're talking about herbs and things, probably best to email me so I can send you things that come too long to talk about on the phone. And also, if you care to make a donation, that's greatly appreciated. The links are down there also. Have a wonderful day. I love you.